Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the podcast series, The Hero in the Mirror. I want to start off by thanking my family, friends, and colleagues for their support and their very kind words on the first episode. It makes making the second episode a whole lot easier. But jokes aside, thanks again, and I hope that first episode has helped you acknowledge and embrace your hero story. To continue to echo the message that heroes are all among us and that each of us has a hero's journey and story. Each of us in our own way have accomplished great things and overcome challenges, and all of those experiences have made you the hero that you are today. So give yourself a little bit more credit at the end of the day, and most importantly, smile when you see that hero in the mirror. We have our first guest on this episode, a close friend of mine with a remarkable story. Julian Aparicio is a recent 2024 finance graduate from DePaul University, an Achilles Scholar, a finance professional with experience in banking operations, financial analysis, and data validation, having worked with institutions like Wintrust and Weber Shandwick. He is passionate about leveraging analytical skills to drive strategic decision making and is currently pursuing new opportunities in the financial sector as a financial analyst, accounts payable, or staff accountant. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge for any of my HR colleagues looking for someone with these skills and experience. Julian, it is a pleasure to have you as my first guest. I know your story well, and I'm honored to have you here to share your story and how you've overcome some tremendous challenges and have still kept a strong mindset in the face of incredible adversity.
Well, I'm excited to be here, Fidel. I hope truly that my story can at least motivate someone to pursue their goals and not give up. And I'm excited. So,
Good. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So, with that said, we'll get into it. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced on your hero's journey, and how did you overcome them?
well, as you know very well, in 2005, I unfortunately suffered a traumatic brain injury. And since then, every day has practically required me to adapt rapidly to each new day. First, when I way back when I got from we started recovering from my injury, something like sitting up normally, keeping my head up were really difficult, and I couldn't even talk when I woke up. I was just confused. I'm like, why can't I talk? What's going on? I eventually after a few days awake from waking up from my coma, I realized that I was paralyzed on my left side. And so practically, I went while I was at the hospital. I just endured and went through my therapy, did my best to get better rapidly. And once I was home, being, I just got tired of not being able to do things like I used to, being able to walk around normally, running, jumping. So what I did was like I asked my parents to just help me walk, take a step outside into my backyard because I was tired of seeing being practically being stuck in a room, being seeing the same four walls every day. I just wanted to go outside, see the sky, see the sun, wave hi to my neighbors, and that's what I did. So I just asked my parents one day, I believe it was a Saturday morning. I asked my mom, like, Mom, help me walk to the back porch. I'm tired of being inside. And we made it through, and since then, I graduated high school, got a couple of degrees in digital photography, graphic design, and now, as you mentioned, I'm a finance graduate from DePaul. Just not giving up, and as you know, you know, being Mexican born, our culture kind of teaches us to never give up. If I say I'm Mexican, it means to me it means I'm not gonna give up. I'll find a way to accomplish it, and that's what I did. Still each day I still learn to navigate the new challenges that come to me differently. I learn how to navigate through them, but I've made it so far, and So far, I'm almost where I want to be, where I want to be, but to say it correctly, and I'm very excited for the future.
That's great, Julian. I appreciate that. You mentioned a little bit about your motivation. How did you and how do you still stay motivated and resilient in the face of adversity?
One, that's a great question, but as you know, like I mentioned, being Mexican born and then knowing my parents brought me here for a better future. So they sacrificed everything and they left everything behind. In order to make up for that sacrifice, I needed to be successful, or I need to be successful. And like I mentioned in the previous comment, I'm almost where I want to be. So I'm just a tiny bit closer, and I'm really doing my best. And I know right now the market's a bit tough, but I'm not giving up. I'm meeting new people every day. Soon I'll be meeting. I've met a couple of CFOs. Got some advice from them. I'll be meeting one tomorrow at the Chicago Department of Aviation. So I'm doing my best to network and not give up and just stay positive minded. That's the best that I can do. And having positive people around me, but also having positive people that have goals. Because if you just have friends and they don't even have goals, then it's not gonna motivate you. So having people around you with similar goals, well, they will push you forward. So when I'm down or when someone is down, you have friends to motivate you and keep positive.
Yeah, great. Having a good support system in place, some good friends and family members definitely goes a long way. Julian,
Definitely.
how do you define success now, and how has that definition changed over time?
For me, when I've actually thought about this many times, for me it's very simple, and I think it's well when I for me success is having a successful career or at least starting a successful career or like once I obtain a full time career position, that will be the peak or the start of my American dream of being accomplished. But I think all along the way, it's also acknowledging the small accomplishments that I made. Sometimes I think we often overlook the small accomplishments, and we don't think that together these add up to many accomplishments. And so, for example, one is like for me is learning to walk again, even speaking English with you, having a degree in digital photography, graphic design, and now like you mentioned, being a graduate. Those are also big accomplishments, but to me, those are just stepping stones. And one time, I also remembered my friend telling me that success is not a destination; it's a journey. And I think that's another big thing we have to realize. There's a lot of stepping stones to get to that destination that we want to call success. But like I mentioned, it's also learning to realize the small ones that got you there.
Oh, yeah, that's great. All those small wins definitely add up. Julian, last question for you. What advice or message would you like to share to someone who is struggling to overcome similar challenges in their own hero's journey?
I believe it's staying positive minded, being goal oriented, but most of all, having a group of people, friends, family that will help you stay positive, but also this group of people have to be goal oriented. And I know it's not always easy, but staying positive really helps. Everything takes time. Success is a journey, and I think that's the biggest thing we have to remember.
Julian, that's great. Success is a journey, man. That is amazing. Well, Julian, it was a pleasure having you on my podcast today, and look forward to more times for us to hang out. For our folks listening, I hope Julian's story has inspired you to face your challenges or your obstacles head on and to become the hero in your story, or to acknowledge and embrace those obstacles that you've overcome. So take a moment and ask yourself today, what adversities have you faced? Ask yourself, where would you be without them? I want all of you to remember that heroes aren't that hard to find, and more importantly, to smile when you see that hero in the mirror. Last call to action here is, if you like the story that you heard today and would like to hear more like these, please feel free to like and subscribe. We're also now on Spotify, so feel free to catch our episodes on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you, everybody. Bye, y'all.